And we are back for another edition of Behind the Uniform. This is where we give you some insight into who these young men and women are. These young men and women that you see on game days are much more than players on the field or court. And that's what this is all about. This platform is also about enhancing their financial wellness and education. Feel like we have a responsibility as much as we get from them. Want this platform to give back something. And so especially in the NIL era, we have the opportunity to do that with our great sponsors, starting with our friends, our presenting sponsor over at Golden Limo. If you have ground transportation needs, get to your destination on time, every time with Golden Limo. Their fleet of charter buses, executive sprinters, mid-size vans, party buses, luxury SUVs, and even a trolley, their service and attention to every detail is second to none, and their track record for safety is beyond reproach. Whether you're traveling in Southeast Michigan, throughout the United States, or even abroad, Golden Limo has you covered. And now when you make a reservation with Golden Limo using the Golden Ticket, you'll be supporting Michigan NIL and a great military charity. Golden Limo founder and CEO Sean Duvall has been a great supporter of Michigan NIL, first through his NIL partnership with Will Johnson and his toy drive, and then through Will's Golden Limo NIL ambassadorship. And now in 2024, Sean and Golden Limo are back with an NIL partnership with Zeke Berry. Sean Duvall also comes from a military family and is a passionate supporter of military charities. One of those charities is Freedom River. Freedom River is a comprehensive outdoor recreation center located in Brighton, Michigan that assists in reassimilation of U.S. military service members, veterans, and their families. A portion of your reservation fee will go there, and that's not all. There's one more perk. Once a month, one Golden Ticket reservation will be selected to attend an exclusive party after the season. That party will include Zeke Berry, Samaj Morgan, maybe some other guests. I know it will include the film study crew, Al Borges, Vance Bedford, doing an exclusive film study breakdown in front of the audience that is at that party. It'll have the Dropping Dimes crew with Devin Gardner, Daniel Horton. Maybe it'll include you, but only if you book through Golden Limo using the Golden Ticket once per month. A Golden Ticket reservation will be selected to go to that party with 3 guests, but only if you book your reservation through Golden Limo using the Golden Ticket. All you have to do to book your Golden Ticket reservation is go to goldenlimo.com/Golden Ticket or call their team at 734-668-8282 and mention Golden Ticket to book your transportation reservations today. And of course, I said this platform, Behind the Uniform, financial wellness and education. We engaged our great partners at University of Michigan Credit Union and Morgan Stanley. We'll tell you more about that during our Financial Literacy Bootcamp segment a little bit later on in the show. Right now, let's welcome our guest this week, this episode. Familiar face. He was on season 1, Mr. Colston Loveland, or as he's called by some of the guys on the team, C Love. How you doing?
I'm great, man. Appreciate you having me in. It's always good to sit down and chat with you.
Hey, man, it's feeling pretty good to have you back. It's just to watch your journey. I mean, you felt like a vet when we first talked to you because you came in the door playing well. Mm-hmm. It just feels like watching you. I don't want to say that it's been easy, but you've made it look easy. Has any of this been hard for you? I'm being serious. I'm being serious because it doesn't look like it's been hard for you.
Yeah. I mean, obviously it's all hard, a lot of time, a lot of sacrifices, but it was harder definitely at first, just the transition, the playbook, the speed, you know what I'm saying? Living on your own, don't know a whole lot of people. That at first was harder. There's like the first spring, I think I talked about it on the first episode, but it was like a little eye-opening, like, man, am I really good enough to be doing this? And then, get beat up a couple times, do your thing, and then once I really started playing, though, that's when everything kind of, the confidence boosted, you know what I'm saying? And that's when it kind of got my swag, and it's like, all right, I can definitely do this. I wouldn't say it's easy at all. A lot of good talent out there, but it's a lot easier than it was, for sure.
Here's what we could see from jump. Receiver stuff, yeah, man, you got that. You could do that all the way. The blocking stuff, it felt like that was the part that you had to grow into more. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, that's fair.
So where do you feel like you are in that journey as they can split you out. You want to bet you're the best when it comes to catching the football. You're the best tight end in the country. What about as a blocker? Where do you feel like you are as a blocker, as a tight end at this point?
Yeah, I think I'm just right up there with the best in the country for sure. I think I'm a true hybrid tight end. I get a lot of shade for not blocking, but it's because I'm always split out, you know what I'm saying? Or like running routes, so it's like that's not really my fault. But no, I feel like my blocking, even freshman year, I did a lot. That was probably the most I've done, like inline blocking. Played like a lot of Y freshman year. So I have that background, obviously. And then this year, I just plan on being even more versatile and just putting my hand in the dirt and actually, being on the front side of stuff and just showing everyone that like I can do it.
You can do it.
Yeah,
All right, so
like
let's do this. Let's do an exercise because players know. Like
Yeah.
you know the plays that you've made. Even the plays that people like, we know to play the balls that you've caught, but you know the blocks that you've made. So take us into maybe a couple of the biggest blocks that you can remember from last season.
Biggest blocks from last season?
Yeah, that you had to spring plays.
Dono's touchdown in the Natty. I was on the backside, kind of bluffed the DN. Miles kicked him out, and then I went up, climbed to the safety. That was a nice block. Had a good block with, I think it was same game with Orge. It was like he pulled it. It was going to the outside, and it was just like, I think number 7, Washington. I think that was a pretty good block. I had a lot of more like in space, second level blocking than in line. But Penn State, I had an in line. It was goal line. When Samaj caught a screen, got it down to like the 3, and then Blake put it in. But I was in line, had just a straight down block on a DN. That was when you watch that back. That was one of my better blocks for sure.
Yeah. You taking down a DN, you're doing something. So the first touchdown with Donovan, you said you bluffed the guy. Was that something that you did on the fly, or were you supposed to bluff?
No, yeah, we've been doing that, kind of like bluff, boom. And then he tried putting hands on, and Miles easily washed him out. So, man, you've seen the whole, Dono made the cut, and then, it was just getting on the inside of the safety, and then, all you got to do with Dono is be on there for a second, and you see him running by, feel him running by.
Right.
Easy touchdown.
All right, so check the tape. That's what
That's
what Colston is saying. Check my tape.
Can definitely improve on every aspect, but yeah.
Yeah, man, it's amazing to kind of see how narratives get cast, because I don't think it's that people saying that you can't block. It's that you're so good as a receiver that it's like, man, he's exceptional as a receiver, that I think people kind of lose sight of, that you can get, that you do so well at. And then you have guys that have come through that are so exceptional as blockers. Like AJ was exceptional as a blocker, right? You look at Max, is exceptional as a blocker, right? So when you have that's another thing that people look at.
Yeah, for sure.
So let's talk about that a little bit. You guys use a lot of tight ends, man.
You know it.
In a lot of different roles. And so, is that one of the things I know you said you want to do a lot more things, but when you have that many tight ends,
that's what I'm saying. Like that's what's cool about it, is like we got so much depth in the tight end room. It's like last year especially, it was like everyone had their strengths, you know what I'm saying? Brad was really good out of the backfield. All good in every area, but really good out of the backfield. Put your head in someone's chest and put them on the ground. Brad's always going to clear the way for the RB. AJ was super good in line. Backside, front side, didn't really matter. And then I was like more of the receiver threat. So it was cool how we just all had, like, you know what I'm saying, depending on the play, we all had our specific skill sets. Like the coach did a good job of putting us in positions for us to see, pretty much.
Yeah, man.
And even this year, we got just as much depth, so I'm excited.
Yeah, tight end. Your tight end room. Like, I think Marlon Klein.
Yeah, he's gonna come on scene this year for sure.
Yeah, I think he's a big time athlete. So again,
I agree.
But we'll talk about other guys down the line. I want to keep talking about you.
Yeah.
So you have ascended to such a high level. You're regarded by most that I read as the top tight end in the country. Some people have you number 2. I don't know what they're on, but what have you done to get better this off season? You've clearly, your first couple of years you've improved, but you were so good last year. How do you take things up a notch?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I said, I mean, I'm only 20 years old, so it's like I've barely scratched the surface, I feel like. That's what's exciting to me is like I just got so much more to learn and grow. This offseason specifically, just trying to find that way to lock in even more on the small things and the team lifts, team conditioning, whatever. Like this year I ran with we got different times for conditioning, big skill, big dogs. I ran with the skill this year, just finding ways to get better at everything. And then like Pilates, me and Will and a couple guys on the team have been doing Pilates like twice a week over the summer. So just tapping into that, like yoga, stretching, just trying to find everything I can that'll help to become a better football player.
Yeah, man, it's you see guys once you get to your level, to Will's level, you seek things out to try to unlock different aspects. Whether it's, like you said, trying things like Pilates or yoga, or maybe it's like you're finding a trainer out in Cali or Atlanta or something. Did you travel anywhere to do things, or were all your things around this area?
Yeah, no, 4th of July, we were in Florida, went to Florida and Atlanta, trained in Florida with some guys, and then trained in Atlanta with a little receiver coach down there. And there were some DBs down there getting work, so we got press releases, catch releases, and all that. So yeah, we've been training. Those are the only 2 places I've trained over this off season.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So the other thing, I wonder how you're adapting to this role. You and I kind of talked about this, being more of a leader, man. And I'm curious how you slid into that role, because obviously you've always been doing the right thing. So in essence, you've been leading by example. But feels like you're gonna have to be somewhat more vocal.
Yeah.
Is that something that you're doing, or you feel like you have to do?
Yeah. I feel like obviously we lost a lot of vocal guys, like Blake very vocal, Mikey very vocal, all those leaders that we lost to the draft. But a lot of guys have been stepping up. Donald's been a lot more vocal. Will, Mason, KG, Josiah, Deep, like everyone in our class and the class above, upperclassmen, I guess, have become a lot more vocal, and everyone's just like the camaraderie's been the same, and everything's like I really haven't skipped a beat. Like I think we've all done a good job. And like you said, being vocally leader, that's one thing. But like every dude in there is leading by example, and I think the young guys can see that, and they're already so locked in. So I think everything's just.
Is that something that comes natural?
Smooth.
Is being more vocal, does that come natural to you, or is that something that you have to focus on?
Yeah, it's kind of just been natural. Like I'm definitely not forcing it, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, like whenever something needs to be said, or you need to call something out, or for a bad or a good thing, you know what I'm saying? Just letting people know that they're doing good, maybe they need to pick it up, whatever it may be.
So when you lose as much as you guys lost experience-wise offensively, and naturally the belief is there's no way they can replace all of that.
Yeah.
There's no way they can go out and perform as well. I'm not saying that you listen to all of that, but I'm curious how internally you bridge that experience gap. How do you bring along guys who haven't played as much, bring them up to speed to the point where you can perform at the level that you guys are used to performing at?
Yeah, I mean, it just starts with the culture, with the coaches, the players, how they're taking the information, you know what I'm saying? Like bringing them along, like we've been saying this whole time. But like I said earlier, like there's just a bunch of young guys or no-name guys that are just ready to break the scene, and they've been putting in the work. Like we see it, you know what I'm saying? So I think a lot of people are going to be impressed when it comes fall. Game time, people are going to make some plays for sure.
Yeah, so I remember, so I like to look at history, and one of the things I want to get into with you is how do you grow up a young guy? So one of the greatest receivers to ever play here, a dude named Braylon Edwards. I don't know if you ever met Braylon. Braylon in 2004 played with a young quarterback named Chad Henne. And I think he got Chad used to, hey man, listen, just throw it up.
When in doubt.
When in doubt,
Throw it up.
just throw it up, man. I got you. I'm not saying for you to say who the quarterback is.
Yeah.
That's not what we're talking about. But is that a conversation that you have kind of made clear to those guys? Like, look, man, I got y'all.
Yeah, for sure. They know.
See, love is in the house.
Yeah,
just throw it up.
No, I'll let them know that for sure. And you know how the tight ends are. That's the quarterback's blanket. You know what I'm saying? When in trouble, go there. But like all of them that are competing right now, I mean, I think what's most important is building that relationship first. You know what I'm saying? We got to be able to trust each other. Got to know I'm rocking with you, you're rocking with me. But I think the relationship, it's been built. But now it's like you said, just on like, you know, when in doubt, that third down, you know what I'm saying? Just know I'm gonna do my job. So put it somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Put it somewhere.
Right.
But no, I mean, I think that it is very important to bring them along and build their confidence. And that's going to be something that's huge during camp, you know, when we get the pads on and really playing ball.
Yeah, because I wonder, us not being in your position, like how do you, these are guys who are going to need some confidence infused. I'm not saying they aren't confident players, but they're going to need, in that scenario, they're going to need some confidence infused in them.
For sure.
In situations where doubt is inherent. Like, hey, the pressure is coming down on me. A lot of things are moving fast. For you to say, hey, listen, even if it looks covered, I'm gonna make sure that it's not gonna be picked off.
Yeah.
Whatever happens, it's not gonna be. Just throw it up. I got you.
Yeah.
Right. So that's why I wonder: is that the kind of rapport? Have you been able to establish that kind of rapport with them yet?
Yeah. And I think they all like. That's kind of just something we all know. You know what I'm saying? Like. Yeah, I mean, if you're in trouble, and we got more weapons obviously on offense, but it's like just going back to that trust factor. Like, you know, we're gonna run the right route. You know, we're gonna, even if we may not get the ball on this route, or, you know, it's a concept like we haven't been getting it all week of practice. No, I'm gonna run this route hard because they blow a coverage, they bust a coverage to do something. Just know I'm gonna be an option. And like you said, it's like even if it's tight coverage or whatever it may be, just know it's gonna be either a catch or incomplete at the worst. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, I think we built that, and that's just gonna come with playing more ball too, seeing real looks, and then just giving more feedback there.
Yeah, you know, you said you're gonna really see it in camp. How much of it is the chemistry that you guys develop in the off season when you're just going out, y'all just going, hey, listen,
running routes.
We got to go out and run routes. And do you have to go out with like each quarterback separately, or do you guys go out as a whole crew?
Yeah.
All three quarterbacks or however many there are, and do it.
So it's tough because we all got different lift times. But when we can, it's mainly, I mean, there's a lot of times it's 4 or 5 all the quarterbacks out there throwing 10, 15 receivers out there, tight ends. And we're just going and, you know, getting touches from each quarterback. And that's I think we've been doing that a bunch over the summer, which has been nice. I think, like you said, that's like we did that last year with JJ, first time starting, you know, let's just throw balls, run routes, and just being out there talking, you know, having fun, just building that relationship. That alone right there is building chemistry. So I think we've been doing a good job of that this offseason.
I said this to you beforehand because one of the things I want to get into after we talk about financial literacy, we'll get into this a little bit later in the show. You guys talk about the culture, and I know it's real. You guys won a national championship through a lot of adversity, and you don't do that without great culture.
Yeah.
But it seems like, to hear you guys talk about it and to see, it seems like something that is in a movie.
Yeah.
It almost seems like not real. Have you guys kind of realized that, like, it's different here than it is, like really different here compared to other places?
Yeah. No, I mean, I think we all realize that, like we talk about it all the time, and it's like you can feel it when you're in the building. Like, man, I mean, you know, I obviously haven't been to the other locker rooms and facilities and really been around, but it's just hard to believe that there's another school that's, you know, that the culture's that tight and the players bottom to top of roster that close. You know what I'm saying? Coaches, it's pretty special. It does feel like it's almost out of a movie, like especially nowadays with NIL. You know, a lot of people transferring. But to still have that tight culture, that is very special. I think that's just a shout out to Coach Moore, Coach Harbaugh, what he created. All the coaches are still buying in.
Yeah, so we'll just segue to it right now. Listen, you know, the players that we've had in, they made it very clear they had serious decisions to make. Circumstances could be different. It could be, hey, I'm not playing a lot, and a school is coming over telling me not only are they going to give me a big NIL deal, but I could play. Another consideration for a guy like you could be, listen, not only can I get a big NIL check, but the coaching staff has changed,
Yeah.
right? And so for a guy like you, who if they're offering Giovanni El Hadi something that's going to take care of his whole family, I can only imagine what schools were coming at Colston Loveland is. He said, man, I seriously had to sit down and pray on, do I stay?
Yeah.
And ultimately, I decided the culture and the guys were enough for me to stay here. And I'm curious what, for you, with everything that I'm sure was coming at you, you could tell me if I'm wrong about that,
Yeah.
made you decide that, you know what, that's not for me.
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, we'll start it from when Coach Harbaugh left. Right away, you know, the phone's blowing up. High school coach, you know, whoever it may be, talking about, you know, a lot of people reaching out. I was like, well, let me know, you know, keep me in the loop. We'll figure it out. Because a lot of people, you know, we're kind of just jammed up mentally, like, what are we gonna do? Just kind of wait for things to play out. The defensive staff ended up leaving, majority of them. So then a lot of the defensive guys were like, you know, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? Everyone wasn't on the same page. And I don't know when it was exactly, but it was early on. We just have like a majority of the leaders on the team. You could say leaders, upperclassmen. We all came in, we met. We're like, all right, we need to sit down and figure it out. So we were like, there's probably 15, 20 of us in this room, conference room, sitting on the table. It was a little awkward at first. We're all just like waiting on someone to get it going. Start talking. Everyone's like, all right, like where's your head at? You know, it's like, well, this is what I think. Blah blah blah. You know, getting offered a lot of money, maybe not getting anything right now here. So like, what's the deal? And then we all just figured, you know, like if one person leaves, that's just gonna open the door, and then a bunch of people are gonna start leaving, and then we're leaving Michigan, you know, empty-handed, which is like, with everything that Michigan's gave to us and done for us, you know what I'm saying? That I think we all realized, like, the culture here, you know, the offensive staff stayed the same pretty much. Defensive staff, we got a new defensive staff. Everyone's bought in, everyone's really good, and we kind of just thought, you know, we've been rocking with them this far. Let's stay together, you know, because I mean, like you said, the culture and the relationship we have as players is like, I don't want to leave. Like, none of us wanted to leave Michigan at all. It was just like, more money maybe.
Right.
You know what I mean? The circumstances is like, it's hard to say no, but then it's like, yeah, we just came together, bunch of praying, talking to family, talking to each other, and we all just came to a conclusion like, hey man, let's stay, let's run it back. And we got great coaches, we got great fans, we got great people around us, so why not?
Yeah, and now
I'm glad we did.
one of the things that I've been sensing though is that, yeah, it was definitely a lot of money on the table for these other schools, but there has been a switch that's kind of been flipped.
Yeah, I didn't even talk about that.
For Michigan NIL, like, you know, there was a before the national championship where it was like, hey man, we're not even in the same ballpark. To now, okay, now you can actually do well NIL wise. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, that's another thing too, that Michigan stepped their game up. Champion Circle, shout out Champion Circle. All the alumni, they were busting their butts off, you know, trying to fundraise money and get us paid, and they eventually did. Got some contracts sent out, and then once that started rolling, everyone was like, all right, they're taking care of us now. You know, we're good. You know, no one's tripping anymore. We're good. We're gonna stay here. But no, big shout out to those guys and everyone who supports. We really do appreciate it.
Absolutely. Okay, so that is a great segue into this segment we call the Financial Literacy Bootcamp. So as I said before, the Financial Literacy Bootcamp is about helping the student athletes with their financial wellness and education. And, you know, our effort, as Gio said, I keep going back to Gio. He said, you know, some of us aren't very smart with our money. And I said, Gio, that's what we are trying to help change. Young brother, we want to help make student athletes better with their money. And not just student athletes, but young people, because you can spread the word. You can help uplift others. So when you leave your college endeavor, you are leaving better off financially. And that's where we engaged our great partners in this affair, starting off first with our friends at the University of Michigan Credit Union, who are helping set the foundation. And they did it with what they're calling their playbook for prosperity. So, Colston, you made your way over to the University of Michigan Credit Union. They unveiled their playbook for prosperity. What were some of the things that they covered with you?
Yeah, it covered a lot. Started off really just savings, like what we know about savings. Did some exercises, and they were asking us questions like, you saver, spender, so it was kind of a cool activity. But we were talking about savings, talking a lot about credit score. Like they handed out 3 credit scores to us. It was me, Timo, and Orgy. Timo had a 600, I had a 650, Orgy had a 720, and we were all buying this Ford Bronco, and it was like $45,000, I think. And Timo tried buying it with the 600, and the interest rate was like 20% or something crazy. So he ended up paying, like by the time he paid it off, he'd have paid like an extra $30,000 on it or something crazy. And then mine was a little better, and then Orge's the interest rate was really good. So it was just cool to see how first credit score affects you buying, houses, cars, getting loans, or whatever that may be. And then they also showed us, like if you miss a 1-day payment or a 30-day payment or 30-day late payment or whatever it may be, they were saying it drops the credit score like 30 points. And you know how it is; it's tough to get it back up.
Yeah.
So it was cool to just see that, and they did a great job of just kind of showing us hands-on by examples that.
Yeah, it sounds like that one was the one that really resonated. That if you miss a payment, your credit score can really take a big hit, and it falls quicker than you can build it back up.
Yep. It's like a GPA.
Yeah, they do it that way for a reason, right?
Yeah.
But again, if you're attentive to it, you can avoid some of those pitfalls. Pay on time. And one of the things that I keep trying to stress on the platform is, look, keep your credit tight. By that I mean, don't have a million lines of credit.
Yeah. That's what they were saying too. Make sure you're able to manage it all. You know what I'm saying? Put it on auto pay.
Yeah, don't have a bunch of different credit inquiries. It's another thing that brings your credit score down.
Yeah.
And you step on the college campus, I mean, they're offering you credit cards left and right. So it's very easy to get. Next thing you know, you don't realize this is one of the things, having all these open lines of credit, or all these credit inquiries can bring your score down.
Yeah.
So the first one is very easy. Spender or saver. So what do you think, Colston?
Yeah, I would say the same. I used to, growing up, I would always save my money.
Yeah,
I was
a
big
little
into
bit more.
saving. But now, just more resources, I feel like.
Okay.
Yeah. So I spend a little bit more, but I'm still
More
saving.
Subi in the wardrobe.
Yeah. Spend money on stuff that brings you joy. And that sort of makes life rich. And of course, it's got to be within reason, right? We've got to live within our means and plan for the future and stuff, but it's okay. It's okay. I do. I play golf once a week. That's a perk for me, and that kind of thing. So all good. Are you more spontaneous, or are you definitely a planner when it comes to your finances? How about you, Colston?
Yeah, I'm more spontaneous.
You think so? Yeah, just
when stuff comes up, kind of just whether I like it or not, I'll get on it pretty early.
Opportunities, events, requests, stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's okay. This one's a little bit different, but would you consider yourself more of a worrier when it comes to finances, or very confident? What do you think, Colston? Worrier or confident?
I would say I'm more confident for sure.
Yeah.
Like I said earlier, I make sure I save and I'm putting money away. Taxes, you know how that is. So I'm confident with my money for sure.
Good. Let's transition a little bit. I usually like to start off workshops. I talk a little bit about this term, financial wellness or financial health. So if I asked you guys, if I said, hey, if that person over there is really financially healthy, they're doing really good, what would I see that person doing?
Someone that just looks the part too,
Whoa,
hygiene, kind of trim, just looks like they're succeeding in life.
Doing well, yeah. Probably the hardest part of my job is working with a family or an individual who's in trouble, who's financially stressed. They don't care about their score, they're just stressed, and it's hard. And so when we talk about financial wellness, I always like to say it's peace of mind, it's financial freedom, and it's also habits. What are those habits? I got a budget, I'm good credit score, I'm saving regularly. That'll all lead to success. So let's talk a little bit about planning. Okay, let's talk a little bit about, and I'm curious, you don't have to give me the details, but Colston, if I asked you, when you start a month, what goes into your thought process in terms of finances? Income, expenses, Do you plan it out? You got a notebook? What do you use?
Yeah. Yeah. So like start of the month, first thing I'm looking at is like what do I have? What signings do I have?
Yeah.
Or, what income's coming in? And then I like to budget, like not a strict budget,
Okay.
but my rent,
Yeah.
car payment, all that, like the non-negotiables, whatever I'm going to spend there, and then I'll put my spending in just on a little notebook. It's
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm working on it. I'm still
That's
building.
That's great.
Yeah.
I'll use that word budget in a workshop, and it for a lot of people, it's like, ooh, don't tell me where to spend my money, or I don't have time to do all this kind of stuff. I'm like, no, I'm not here to give you a second job. I just really want you to have transparency into your dollars, so you have a good sense, what do you have to work with, and where's it going?
Our friends at University of Michigan Credit Union, spreading the word, helping establish that great foundation, that great financial education foundation with the playbook for prosperity. So from there, Colston, you made your way over to Morgan Stanley. I
Yeah.
know you were already familiar with Dave Hemmick, had gone over some tools with you before, had talked to you about an LLC before.
Yeah.
This time he got even deeper into some details when it came to some investments. So what did you guys tackle this time?
Yeah, so he was talking about investments. He broke it down just to three things. It was cash, stocks, and bonds. And like when I think investments, I think like stocks. That's the first thing that comes to mind. So we were just talking about that a little bit. He was showing us like charts and everything. What was really interesting to me was he got fired up talking about it was like private investments and or equity. And it was just cool to see, like, he was saying, like, that's kind of where, like, once you get the big sums of money, like, you put your money in there, that's where you see, like, exponential growth, faster growth. So that's something that kind of just opened my eyes. Like, I just thought straight stocks, that's all it is. So that was cool to see. And then something that Dave always reminds me is just taxes. He said every time. It's like, come on, Dave. No, but he said it's always good to just cut your check in half. You know what I'm saying? Put that half away. No, you don't got to worry about that. And yeah, but I mean, yeah, we learned a lot. It was quick, it was brief, but yeah, Dave always does a good job.
Yeah, man.
For sure.
So, have you already? And I know he's kind of gone over this with all of you guys. He said, "Listen, if you just start putting some away now and don't touch it,
Yeah.
you'll be fine. You'll be surprised by how much money that is 30 years from now." So, have you started doing that?
Yeah. Yes, I have. Yeah,
All right.
I have.
All right.
Yep.
There we go. See, young people, start putting that money
it
away
away.
right now. Start, it
Fill
doesn't
up
have to be a
rock.
ton.
Yeah.
Start putting some of it away right now, and then next thing you know, when retirement time comes, that little bit that you put away is a whole lot bigger. It's the kind of example that these young fellas, and soon to be, we're gonna have some female student athletes on this platform as well in the weeks and months to come. But setting a good example here during our financial literacy boot camp. So, Colston, now rubber is about to meet the road. You're coming off of a great spring. You're entering a fall camp. But there's going to be a knockdown, drag-out QB competition. But part of the intrigue is also going to be you're going to a new offensive coordinator. Now, I know that the DNA of who you are doesn't change. But I do wonder, what are some of the nuance? There has to be a nuance to it, like style-wise. What have you noticed style-wise? Can you give us what Coach Campbell's style is, at least, if you are going to get into some details about what the attack is going to be? What do you think his style is?
I don't want to get too much into the attack yet, but no, he just likes to keep it simple, but it's not for the defense. You know what I'm saying? So similar formations. We're in the same formations, but we run a bunch of different concepts out of that formation, or same motion. Do a lot of motion, a lot of shifting, so that throws teams off. But I mean, like you said, it's Michigan. We're going to stay, I think, balanced as far as run and pass game goes. But I think he's got some good stuff up his sleeve as far as concepts. And all that goes. I don't want to give you too much.
I
but-
hear you, man. Hey, that's I'm not trying to put you
No,
on the
yeah,
spot.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
why I
yeah.
asked about style. I didn't
Yeah,
ask
yeah.
about specific plays.
He's very detailed, all like splits detailed, pre-snap, motions, splits, those are very detailed, which has been great because we're all on the same page, split, yard and a half off the ball, making sure you're off on, just little details that, might come up in spring that, people don't catch, but he makes sure we're all locked in on that.
All right, so I wanna get your take on each quarterback. A thing that you noticed as a guy who practices with these guys that maybe we wouldn't notice as outside observers. So when you look at Tuttle, about his game, what do you see in him or know about his game that we might not be able to see as a fan or outside player? What do you see in his game? What can he do that people might not realize he can do?
I think one thing that just sticks out to me when Tut is just how experienced he is. He's been around for a lot, been at a lot of schools, kind of knows how things work, and he brings that to the team. Like you can feel it, in the huddle. He's very confident in what he does, making sure guys are right. You forget the player, don't know what you're running on a play. He just coordinating everything, which is what a quarterback does. But he just does it at a high level, and I think. I'm excited. He came off that shoulder, so he's getting back right healthy, and he's good now. He's been throwing the ball, which has been good, and he also throws a great ball too. But I think that's something that sticks out to me with Tut.
Where was when it came to Davis? Because he's had good springs before.
Yeah.
Where was he better this spring?
I think it was just consistency and more confidence as well in the pocket. I think. He's stayed in there this spring, making throws, tight throws. He throws that dig ball really good. But I mean, same way. It's crazy just to see like how all their confidence changes. You know what I'm saying? Knowing like, all right, got to beat the guy now. Got to fight for that spot. But he's been like you said, he's had great springs in the past, great training camps in the past. He's been doing really good. And I think his ball. He throws one of the better balls for sure.
Mm-hmm. Where was Alex better? He's coming in after you. Where was he better this spring compared to last spring?
Yeah, I think it's just like some like small maybe pre-snap mistakes or like his coverage mistakes. But he's been rolling too this spring. Super confident. You know how Orge is too. He really takes charge of the offense, and he's obviously what he does with his legs is insane. But just the poise he has in there. And just running things, that's something that really, obviously he's a great quarterback, throws great balls, but just as far as him running, running the offense and really grabbing it, and I think that's what really impresses me about Orge. He's a true leader.
I got you. So let's flip the script a little bit and look at the other side of the ball. Gio said something. I was like, man, really? He said, listen, we won a national championship last year. Everybody knows that, and we had a great defense. He said, I think this year's defense could be better.
Could be.
He said, I'm not sitting here just saying something.
That.
I'm not sitting here just saying that to get attention and to, create some headlines.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm saying that to you, being around this and seeing those guys. This defense could be better this year. I'm curious what you think.
Yeah, no, he hit it right on the head. I think obviously lost a lot of guys, a lot of leaders too, but we got some great transfers in, got some young guys that'll step on the scene, but if you really look at it, we got Will, Mace, our interior's back, missing Chris and, a couple guys, but they're back. LBs are strong, DBs are strong. Like I think we got 3 or 4 transfers, and they've just been working. They ain't been saying a whole lot, they've just been coming in working. We can be better than last year for sure. I'm not saying we are.
Right,
I'm not saying we are, but have a good camp, make sure we're on our P's and Q's. Yeah, I think our defense is going to terrorize some teams.
Yeah, I think terrorize, but man, I'm looking around. I'm like, man.
Stacked. It's going to be, like the beginning of the spring, it was tough. They were putting it on us pretty hard. The defense, they were winning the practice. Not all of them, but at the beginning they were, yeah.
And so what was it like last spring? I don't know if you can remember back that far. Was it more back and forth the previous spring, or were they doing this? Were they doing the same thing the prior spring?
They won a couple, but I feel like it was more back and forth then.
It was more back and forth.
But
Yeah.
Our defense, ever since I've been here, our defense has always been good. Yeah, it's always a battle.
I hear you. Man, that should be scary for the opposition because look, I know you guys don't tune this out. I mean, don't pay a ton of attention to this, but they're treating you guys like you aren't defending national champs.
Yeah.
Have you heard that chatter?
Yeah. I hear. Yeah, you see it everywhere.
Is that now? Some people use that kind of thing as fuel.
Yeah.
Does that appear for you guys as fuel now, or do you still just tune it out?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like the balance of tuning it out, but also like, all right, like no, you know what I mean? It's us against everybody again. Like, but I think, like you said, you can't. Everyone's gonna talk. Everyone's always gonna have an opinion. So it's like, we're only focused on what's going on inside of Schembecker Hall right now.
I hear that, man. I hear that. All right,
but
so
back to what you're saying though about the defense too. That's big time for us though. Just as a new offense, playing a veteran defense, a complex defense too. That's going to be huge for us.
Yeah, and you look at the start to
growth.
this season. There's no. I've been using the analogy. There's no runway to this season.
Yeah.
I've been saying it's more like an aircraft carrier.
Yeah.
Like, listen, y'all. No disrespect to those teams you played to start of last year, but you played Texas week 2, and Fresno State is like.
Yeah.
It's not like they're any.
No, good team.
They're a good team.
Yeah.
So out the gate, you guys you got to go.
Yeah, we're rolling.
So to have a defense that might be better than last year, with a young offense,
Yeah,
actually,
that's money. Iron sharpening iron.
There you go. There you go. C Love is in the house. Well, Colston, as we wrap things up here, play out this season for me from Colston Loveland's point of view. What's a I'm gonna call it a storybook ending.
What do I see us ending?
What's the storybook ending?
Natty.
National
Yeah,
championship.
17-0.
17-0. It's 17 games. That's what it'll take.
I think
17
so. Yeah,
games.
I think so.
Golly.
That's the goal though. But really, the goal is
One game in the
Fresno State. Yep.
Like, I knew it. See, that's the other thing. That's why I say this team. It's like a movie, man.
All saying the same stuff.
All saying the same stuff.
Yeah.
That's what I just talked to Max Bredesen. We just did this interview, a CBS interview down in Indianapolis.
Oh,
He
yeah,
said,
yeah.
man, yes, is the goal to win a national championship?
Yeah.
Sure. He said, and you talk about national championship in August, get you beat. I'm talking about Fresno State.
Yeah.
That's what we do at Michigan. And you just said the same thing.
Yeah. No, that shows you. Yeah, that shows you the
You
culture.
just said the same thing. He happens to be a tight end, too. So, that might have something to do with it as well.
No, he actually told me to say that.
Well, Colston, hey, man, always a super pleasure. You know that. You know you're my guy. I think
Yep.
you know that, too.
Yeah.
So appreciate you showing up and showing out like you always do. Good luck this season. I have no doubt you're going to do your thing. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Appreciate you, Sam.
All right. And thanks a lot for watching another edition of Behind the Uniform. You can always find these episodes on our YouTube page. I want to thank our proud sponsors, our presenting sponsor, Golden Limo. If you have ground transportation needs, get to your destination on time, every time with Golden Limo. Ride like the Wolverines. Feel like a Wolverine when you ride with Golden Limo, the proud transportation partner for many of Michigan's sports teams and the primary transportation provider for Michigan Wolverines football. All you have to do to book your golden ticket reservation is go to goldenlimo.com/golden ticket or call their team at 734-668-8282 and mention Golden Ticket to book your transportation reservations today. Of course, a great thank you to our friends at the University of Michigan Credit Union, of course, Morgan Stanley. We'll see you next time on the next episode of Behind the Uniform.